Okay, why don't we get started and I'll give Dean a call. I'll put myself on mute.
Okay, there we go.
But I don't have too many opening comments. I guess I could just say that this is a exciting meeting today to talk about augmented reality and then also with standards. I'm really looking forward to both of these presentations, as well as updates from our teams. And then at the end of the meeting, we're going to talk about the planning for the summer so that we can give people a break a little bit for the summer since everybody is just so swamped. So with that, I'll try to find Dean and turn it over to Steve.
Okay, thank you, Barb. The agenda that we are working is posted there, and there is one minor addition or correction, I should say. I did not pass the Evelyn Wood sped reading math course. So I cut Phil 5 minutes short of where he should have been and gave Travis 5 minutes more than he should have got. So there's a small adjustment there. So Phil, just you guys are good till 2:15, and if questions spill, we've talked about it before. We'll manufacture a way out. So there we go. Barb's already passed along her thoughts, and what I would like to update you all on relative to the administrative piece of this operation. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency's Clean Water Council was they're still working the policy statement. I've been providing feedback and input to Paul Gardner, which will get placed before the policy committee first. And then when it comes before the full water council, Barb and I will be back on the beat to let them understand why working with us or them supporting us is an important thing. And to that degree, I'm thinking we're looking at probably the July timeframe for that to happen for Barb and myself. The cat's already out of the bag on the issue of we are going to suspend operations for the summer. It's pretty obvious that we've got a level of burnout and people just being swamped with the locating process during summer and all the rest of it. So we are going to throttle back to reconvene on September 30th will be the next large group meeting. And we've already got slotted. We slid Raz from 4M Analytics in Israel. We slid them from June back to September, and they were very gracious about it. So there you go on that one. Also on the calendar, just as an awareness issue, October 12th through 15 is going to be the CGA conference in Orlando, where we are invited to do a panel presentation. Barb is managing that piece, and we still have not have a firm date for that one yet.
I just got that date yesterday. I believe it's the 13th. But I'll send that around to everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Barb. And also at the same time as the Minnesota GIS LIS conference in St. Cloud. And that's pegged for the 13th through the 15th. And if my memory serves me right, Bob, help me out here. They advertised the 13th, but that actually is a workshop day. And then presentations 14, 15, as I remember it, but we can check on that. The point to here is Barb and I are tossing around the idea to see if we can find someone who, while we are down in Florida, laying on the beach, having a good time, could go up to St. Cloud, Minnesota. And basically the presentation is already packaged. It's the same one we've given to the Clean Water Council. And the idea there would be the Minnesota GIS community is somebody that needs to have awareness of what we're doing. And we think that this would be an absolutely outstanding way to do outreach. And so if there's anyone out there that would like to volunteer to do that piece, by all means, please either get in contact with Barb or myself. Moving right along. I think that is it up to this point, unless I'm going to circle back to Barb at this juncture. Is there anything more, Barb, that you want to add to the dynamic of where we are before we turn it over to Troy?
No, I have nothing else.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And so with that, Troy and Nick, let's see what we want to see here in chat. Give me a second. Bob Bisquez has already volunteered for the GIS LIS. Thank you very much, Bob. So,
Oh, thank you, Bob. That's fabulous.
Yep. Appreciate it much. And I think that means Mr. Travis has got the floor.
Okay, I'll try to be short. The group one, the locate data flow group met last week, and we discussed a couple of different things. I mean, we started off with going over the different attributes. I sent the team out basically a bunch of attributes that my company collect while we're out there, just to kind of hone in, and I had worked on this with Brad earlier too, but trying to narrow those down just to the basics on something that's going to fit everybody's portfolio, no matter what kind of utility you're collecting on. Just a suggestion. But the most important thing is, of course, the location, the data, where the feature is and what the feature is and the size of the feature. And we started talking, we just, all three of us, Joe, Kevin, and myself that were in the meeting, just haven't had a lot recently to kind of narrow those down, but at least we have a laundry list of things listed. So we'll continue to keep working on that, and feel free to jump over, Kevin, if you want to. But and then we kind of went over what features are necessary. I mean, obviously, when I was, we were talking, and during speaking, since we are locators at heart, we started talking about tolerance zones and putting paint marks in the ground. You got a 2-point tolerance here and there. So when we start talking about accuracy and changing our paint marks to digital, it's like, why should we expect really anything less? Because when you get to the sharing point of things, which we brought up and got into extremely, is when you start sharing this stuff and excavators are trying to hold you to it, and you got even more variables that can make it an accurate locate mark. It's like, it's tough to say you have to be within 6 inches or 5 inches. I mean, if we expect 2-foot tolerance with paint marks, why it should really be any different when we're sharing the data with GPS? But in just my experience, we can get down to 6-inch accuracy almost 99% of the time pretty easily for less than $3,000. But it's the horizontal, and when I'm sitting here listening to all these presentations for 3D, our horizontals, out of the thousands of clients that we have bring into our GIS portal, when we start looking at horizontal, it's collected in all different kind of coordinate systems or datums, and it's just, nothing ever lines up. So that's why we do so much with depth. I mean, depth of cover, from the ground to whatever the utility is underneath the ground, then it really doesn't matter what the altitude is. So that's why I keep thinking about, when we're in our group, when we sit there and talk about gathering depth, and then the 3D group's just talking about altitude. I mean, I don't think those things really are jiving together right now. But we can get into that more. I don't want to take up too much time. So we talked about the sharing, the accuracies, and then getting questions for myself and Joe to give to our pilot participants, the pilot program participants, so we can start doing interviews and preparing for the articles for the magazine, and also that presentation in October, and whatever other presentations or road shows that we're going to be doing. So, Joe, Kevin, you guys got anything that I left out?
You did a good job, Travis.
Yeah, you did great, Travis. Thank you.
Travis, thank you so much. Appreciate your report. Are there any questions for Travis? I thought I saw the boss had her unmuted, and I was thinking you were going to get hit with something, but looks like you're off the hook.
Yeah, it's unmuted, but I don't have a question. Just thank you, Travis.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Bob, you're under the bus.
Is it a big bus or one of those little shorty ones? I haven't really done anything since the last meeting that we had here, but I've gotten put a lot of thought into kind of where I want to go. One of the things I do need to do is connect up with Travis at some point about some of the stuff. Very similar to what he just reported on is that whole data side of the thing. Something that's going on in parallel with what we're doing here in the underground stuff is a LiDAR collect at the state. And it's almost like we're having the same meeting twice in some respects. They're talking about the same kind of aspects for the data accuracy, all those kinds of things as well. And they're running a new LiDAR data collect at the state level. And the new one is it's about 10 years after the first one that they did. And this new one is going to be done, it looks like they're going to try and do 8 points per square meter for the whole state, which is really high accuracy for doing the whole state. And then the idea there is that, again, at the metro area level, they'll probably upgrade that and up into the 12, 15 points per square meter. The reason that I like paying attention to this particular project is that it ends up being a nice control point data set that you can use for all of these other 3D things to snap into, because it is done collaboratively. Each one of the local municipalities does their own survey control for managing, snapping all of this stuff in and doing the QA on the collect that is made. That is what we've used the 2011 data set for up to this point. Is it's a nice control data set that we can snap in our projects to that we've collected with other devices, and it allows you to see all of these things in concert together in a single coordinate system. Yes, you do have to convert it all to one coordinate system. That is one caveat, but it is doable. There are mechanisms that you can automate to make that work. These are some of the things that I'm kind of pushing on my side from my perspective. I have to kind of push that down a little bit and let other people voice their desires and needs. But those are the kinds of things that I'm going to be starting to attack here shortly with the group on the data group.
Just a quick question, Bob. When the state does a LiDAR project like that, how long does it take?
The last time when they did it in 2011, I think they did it over 3 years. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and run it a little quicker this time, probably inside of 2 years. They might even be able to do it in 1 year, depending on availability of the planes and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Barb, the last slide I saw yesterday showed completion by the end of 2022. So
Good timing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. And looking forward to your team pushing forward through the summer near the campfire. Bob's an avid camper in a camper. Okay. That moves us on to Valerie, please.
So the outreach team continues to work on writing articles about UMPT, and it's for future publications. My colleagues at DP Pro actually interviewed Barbara, I believe, in the past couple of days for the fall publication. The article is going to be on the Gopher State One called Pilot Project, and its experience working on technological aspects with radio detection and VVAX. And I know that my colleagues, if they have not already, will also be following up with Travis and Joe on getting some information from them. I also was really intrigued by our discussion we had during last month's large group meeting about what various members would do if they were king or king for the day. And I pitched that as a possible article for us to write about. So we're working on that as well. I had a chance to meet with Heather McCarn last week, and I forwarded her information to my colleague Karen at DP Pro. Heather is a partner with Henshaw, and she has kindly indicated she's willing to write articles for us. So we're going to follow up with her, and she might be writing a short article for us on privacy issues. And then throughout the summer, the outreach team will continue to work on creating the contact list and getting in front of municipalities, discussing UMPT and its purpose, as well as promoting UMPT in general and on social media. So that is what we'll be continuing to work on throughout the summer.
Thank you, Valerie. Are there any questions for Valerie and the outreach group? You've been doing outstanding work. Thank you so much, Valerie. Really appreciate it. That helps us a lot getting the word out. Dean, I think that would mean you are next.
Yes, the regulations and security subgroup had a meeting earlier this week to go over a draft framework for data sharing. Took a lot of good feedback and had kind of a wide-ranging discussion. Now it's back to the drawing board to refine that framework. Once we do that, I'll have to sit down with Bob and Travis to get their reaction. And then once we incorporate that, then I think we can start working on at least the framework of some data sharing agreements, which I think are kind of key to alleviating concerns of those who would object to sharing data.
Hey, sir, I got the talk going still. Yeah.
Okay, are there any questions for Dean?
Brad Henry wants me to call him too right now. He said, I said, right now, right after meeting or now? He said, now? He's good. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Oh,
Hey, Phil.
yeah.
Yeah, you're live. You're live on and live from Saturday night, you know?
Yeah, Lex. It's a guy. Yeah, Lex. Yeah.
He doesn't hear you.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Dean, I think it's great to get a framework started. So thank you
Okay.
for moving along.
I talked to him
Okay.
a few days ago. Go ahead and call him. Yeah, he's the guy I mentioned at Michigan DOT.
Let me see if somebody
he's
can
a
rouse
real advocate for
Mr. Phil here. Let me shoot him a.
I think according to Don, I guess Jim Ansbach
Are
mentioned.
you able to mute him?
Yeah, I'm
You've got
trying
an
to find
ability to
him.
mute them somehow, but
Yep, give me a second.
There you go.
I think he did it himself. There we go. I wanted to mention you, Dean, yesterday during the Minnesota Geospatial Advisory Council's meeting, they showed a slide of the counties in the state which have enacted open data, if you will, policies or regulations for their county. And to the degree, I'll just make a note to myself. I'll get that to you.
yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yep. Okay. Got it. Make sure it happens. Okay. And with that, I think we're down to the last item, which is, if Barb will allow me, I'll kind of walk us through something and then we'll throw the floor open. Does that work for you, Barb?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So folks, what I would want to point out to you is, if this is your version of summer, I'm all for it. I wish I could be with you. But the reality on my end is I'll be cranking away as best I can. I'm trying to hammer as much of this in as possible so that we have a straw man in place to begin working from when we wander into this fall's activities. And what that means is, to the degree that I can ask you to continue to meet in your small groups, or even just pull questions from the list that were, was previously offered up. There were basically, as you can see here, 3 slides worth of questions. And then just kind of like start thinking about something and the effort that we're looking for. We ran those questions before to get to the point where we were doing the thing with, if you were king, queen for a day, the top fixes you'd make happen. Well, there's the list that was put together. And then as of the leadership meeting on the 21st, we added 2 more. Those items are white lining and a common base map. And so the intent is, to the degree that you're willing and able to do it, get together in your groups. It could be nothing more complicated than getting together for one time during the summer, walking through those questions, walking through the king, queen for a day, pick out something by each person or figure out how you want to manage it. But the goal would be, to the degree that you can do it, send us back that team input element of item discussion recommendation on the items that you choose to work on. So with that, the last thing I would tell you is the work that I'll be doing will be available to you under finding the ongoing work off of the www.mgacepc.net website, underground utilities. Drop over here to the working papers on our dedicated webpage where it says edit view. Everybody that's got a registered account has access to come in here and edit anything that's parked in there. And last but not least, if you open it up, the folders you'll find in there now include something that says improvement plan, and that's where I'll have the stuff parked. And so with that, Barb, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Steve. I think for Steve to start putting together the document is great timing, so that as the small groups can meet, I'd say once, or at least I would hope at least twice during the summer. The leadership team will meet during the summer to keep at least some pace going. And then in September and October and November, we can really put some additional meat on the bones that Steve is putting together for us. So take the opportunity in the summer to work in the small groups if possible. And in the fall, we should hit this pretty hard, and during the winter, and make a strong document come February and March of next year. We should have a really pretty strong document, if not sooner. At least that's what I'm feeling and sensing.
Any additional thoughts out there on moving forward? There's cold beer waiting in the refrigerator is what Dean says.
Yeah, silence is acceptance. Yeah.
Hey, hold tight. There's cold beer where?
At Dean's house, but you got to go to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And Barb says she wants to go fishing.
Well, I don't know if the fish are biting today.
All right.
Say,
I think
Bob
we've had it.
Vasquez, before we ring off, where can we get some more information on the LiDAR mapping that the state is going to be doing, and how that may, how does that fit in or not fit in with the One Call Center's current base map, or is it totally incompatible? We need to talk about that offline a little bit and see what direction we're going to head.
Why don't we just hang out here afterwards if you want, if you got a few minutes?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah, Dean, that the LiDAR map was also in that presentation yesterday. And so I'll see that, you at least get a copy of that too.
Okay.
I'd be interested in that too, please.
Who's that, Kevin?
Yep,
Okay. I'll make sure you get it.
thank you.
In fact, I'll include it with the wrap up email I'll send out next week.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Okay. And I think with that, pull out your scribble pads. Next meeting, September 30th, 2021, 1 p.m. Goals before next large group meeting: develop and execute summer meeting plan and submit item discussion recommendation write-ups as you produce them. That'd be great. You can send them to me. There you go.
Yeah. That'll be our 1 year, 1 month after 1 year of working together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with that, Barb, are you ready to sign them off?
Yep, all done. Enjoy the beach, Nat.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.